Hey guys, my name's Kelvin. I run the food truck of Nanny's food truck. Some of you are familiar with it in Christchurch and in Wellington. Today I'm going to be showing you the fried chicken, how we're going to do it. Whew, it's hot. It's good. Alright, today we'll be working on a few ingredients. One of them is our chicken nibbles, because that's our fried chicken that we tend to use. I believe that's the best tasting part of the chicken when you get it fried. And also with our batter right here. It's a very simple recipe that we're going to be using. Essentially 2 items for the pre-frying, and later on we're going to go through with the seasoning part of the things for the chicken to make it good tasting chicken. Alright. So right now we've got a fryer set at 170 degrees. During at my service I tend to do it 180 just so it's a faster service, because obviously they cook faster. So right now I'll just be doing the battering. So basically this is a real basic battering. All we have is the chicken and also the batter. And just keep on battering, make sure everything's covered nice and white around the chicken. And once you're done with that, just let it sit there for a good 1 minute. So the main reason why I've chose potato starch is the fact that it's gluten-free, whereas cornstarch, it does have gluten in it. So in order to cater for all those people around me, the safer and better option would be potato starch. And I can't fault potato starch as well. It tends to be crispier from my experience. And so yeah, that's the main reason why I tend to do it that way. I tend to wait for 1 minute sitting in the potato starch. This allows more absorption from the potato starch from the moisture of the chicken. That way the potato starch tends to stay onto it much better and gives it a bit of a weight and body onto it. How did I come to realize about that? That's a very good question. It was accidental. There was once I just battered it and I left it for a busy service a bit later, and when I was frying it I realized that, oh wow, oh my god, this chicken is so big today. I wonder why. So that's when I realized that the longer you leave it in the potato starch, the larger the chicken tends to be, from my experience. So 1 minute's up. Now I'm ready to fry. So the fryer is set at 170 degrees. Just making sure don't splash the oil. Nice and gentle. And if you're free, you can do it one by one. But my gosh, if you're in a busy service, just drop it as many. I like to do it for 7 minutes. 7 minutes on the timer. 7 minutes. There we go. Hey, so basically I'll just like to give you a rundown on the fryer. So preferably I love to use gas fryer commercially, but of course if you're just doing this at home, might as well just get a benchtop fryer, electric. So basically gas fryer is very efficient from my experience. The fact that you can just bring the fry anyway if you like, as long as there's a tubing towards the regulator of the gas bottle. You can bring it out of the truck or put it back in. So the shape, almost like a V shape. When you fry any potato starch that comes off the chicken, it tends to drop underneath the oil. So by having this curvature, this is called the cool zone. So once the remnants goes underneath there, it doesn't get burned. So just imagine if you have a busy service, cooking a lot at once, this tends to get filled up. And so if you have this fryer, it'll be so much easier to scoop it out and clean it really fast. So just give it a quick shake, and as you can see, lots of little potato starch is just coming off that chicken piece. So eventually they'll just sit under the oil and starts filling up the space. So you can see some crumbs are coming off the chicken there. Eventually they'll just drop and sink down to the bottom of the oil. So I tend to use canola oil. Firstly, it's because of the cost. It's a much cheaper option, but at the same time, the flavor coming out from there is still very good. All right. So you can go all the way to using soybean oil. From my experience, I have no complaints on those as well. Actually, it's slightly much cheaper than canola, surprisingly, but my suppliers can't recycle those type of oil, so I tend to just stick to canola in the end. There's another option of using coconut oil. Coconut oil in room temperature tends to solidify, which is really good. People tend to just scoop it out and just pop it in, and once it heats up, it just gets all liquidy. People say that coconut oil is very good for your health, but I haven't done much of a reading on that, so I'm sticking to my canola oil. Biggest horror story of the fryer. That's a very good one. Alright, as you can see, my hands, they once used to be really pretty with my skin on the top here, nice and smooth baby skin, but look at all the burn marks. I just had a recent burn marks around here. So I think that's the most horrible experience. I had five pops of oil coming onto my arm once on a busy service because stupidly I was frying some fillets and it was so busy that I wanted them to cook faster, and what I did was grab one of my spatulas and actually poke them while they were in the fryer. Biggest mistake ever. Never do that. So 7 minutes is up. This is the end result. So 1 minute battering of the chicken. You can see there's quite a bit of a potato starch that's been sticking onto the chicken nice and well, and it does give a little bit of a body and weight on the chicken. So right now we're just doing comparison of just an instant battering and just chucking it into the fryer, and this one will be the slightly bigger piece of chicken. Boom, and here goes another 7 minutes. So 7 minutes is up. Let's have a look at the instant battering of the chicken versus a 1 minute. All right, so still bloody hot. So look at the difference between those two. The one on the right is we left it for 1 minute in the batter, and the one on the bottom is just an instantaneous battering and frying right away. But of course, one thing to consider, if you have too much of a batter on the chicken, it does mean that it's a longer frying process. So 7 minutes might not be sufficient for this, so you just gotta make sure that the inside's cooked, yeah? So usually in my busy service, I've already got all the seasoning pre-mixed for myself and get it going for the service. But right now, I'm just going to break it down for you real quick in this little bowl here. Okay, a few of the things that I use is paprika, onion, garlic, salt, sugar, and of course Uncle Roger MSG. So just a scoop of onion, a scoop of garlic powder, scoop of paprika, a spoon of sugar, some salt, MSG. All right, once everything's inside, give it a good mix, and boom, that's your seasoning. Give me more. Plastic, you don't want them to fly around. All right, cool. So here we are back in this truck. So the next step behind the chicken is essentially making sure that it's cooked. So you don't want to give anyone food poisoning from all chicken frying. So I just want to make sure that it's nice and cooked on its insides. And yes, it is. 7 minutes is nice enough. We're just going to do a quick refry on this just to get it nice and crispy, just so we can have a good flavor and taste onto it, okay? So some people might be familiar about Korean fried chicken. They're very famous or popular because they double fry the chicken. So what they do is they do the first fry at a lower temperature at around 150 to 160. The theory behind it is that by having a lower temperature, you cook the chicken outside in at a lower temperature that allows less moisture being escaped from the chicken. So which means eventually once you second fry it at a different temperature of 180, you get this really nice crispy chicken on the outside and a very nice and juicy flavor on the inside. So essentially by doing a technique of double frying, it's nice and moist on the inside and nice and crispy on the outside. But for illustration purposes today, we're just doing a single frying of 170 degrees. On a good night, 10 to 15 kgs, including the burgers, will be around 20 kgs.
And how many wings would that be?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I believe around 12 pieces of chicken nibbles is around 600 grams of chicken. So you do the calculations.
I'll let you know what that number is.
So just give it a good shake for the oil to come off the chicken, excess oil. And I love to use one of these mixing bowls. If you have one, it's very good for getting your chicken mixed up with the seasoning. Just put this aside. Alright, so here's the mixture that we did just before. Just give it a good mix again. Here's the end result of the chicken. Alright, and here we go. Just do it from a distance, just so you can get a nice, evenly distributed powder on the chicken. So here's the end result. So some people like it as it is, without coating of the maple syrup that we have. So I've got all the recipes online. You can buy my seasoning online as well. But and in terms of the maple syrup, you can just choose whatever you like from the supermarket. Okay. And boom, the chicken's ready to be served. All right, I'm just gonna eat one in front of the camera. Even though I cook this every single day, I still like it. Whew, it's hot. It's good. Sweet and savory flavor onto it. You just can't go wrong with this eye. It's very nice and moist in the center, yet you do have that different texture of crunchiness on the outside. Very happy with the end result. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. This channel proudly presented to you by StoryBites. So yeah, looking forward to more ventures with you guys and more videos to come up in the future as well.